Welcome to Goldboys Live, presented by Pickett Sports, Boom Fantasy, breaking down the card in the NBA. Brad Thomas, Brian versus the books, Brian Moran. Boys, I guess we got to start with the topic of the day. It's been a hot button issue and an interesting twist last night as Embiid sits out. The Nuggets win. Brian, this is your boy. This is your team. Basically now a toss-up in the market between Embiid and Jokic, right around even money. Then you have Giannis at 5-1, who might be the best bet of all of them. What are your thoughts here, MVP?
Yeah, I think at this point it's one of those things where I try to talk as objectively as possible in all things, and I was so disappointed that he sat yesterday. But I don't know if you saw his interview, which I think people are misconstruing it because it came out yesterday. That whole interview he talked about, where like he doesn't care about the MVP, he cares more about health, and then he misses the Denver game. I feel like people don't realize that interview took place on like a week and a half ago. Like it wasn't like he did it and then sat down the next day. But yeah, he did not look good in the Phoenix game. I was a little worried about him sitting, but man, it was his award to lose, and now it kind of feels like it's a toss up through and through. As much as you can say it, it seems like it went from like he has to play really bad for him to lose the spot to now it's gonna be whatever people are feeling on voting day. At this point, I think it really kind of shifted dramatically.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, it felt like he had all the momentum in the world, but he even said it like himself. What was it, like 2 weeks ago, where he was basically like, I kind of need like a break. Like, he's like, was talking about being tired and banged up. And
if you watch that Suns game, he did not look good.
Yeah.
He looked like he was limping around and like it was rough watch.
Yeah, and so like it's just funny timing. I mean, the 76ers on a 3-game losing streak. You think about it, like the voters are going to remember. Like they're going to remember this is like just like when you are watching the Heisman. This was the MVP moment, the Heisman moment. Whoever dominates in this matchup late in the season is going to get all of the accolades. I mean, like it's tough. It's tough for me to. I have a ticket on both of them, but my Jokic is 16-1, so I want that one to come through. So like me, biased as crap, I'm pushing for Jokic, but I did get a little bit of 3-1 on Embiid just to. It doesn't win nearly as much, but just in case.
Yeah, I do think it's a 2-man race now, and I'm just a little disappointed because I mean the guy is like a 7-2 monster of a man, and then they have 3 games in 4 days. I just feel like he should have rested. Like you don't want to punt a game this late without Harden, but you almost feel like you punt one of those games against Golden State or the Suns for rest reasons rather than losing anyway and having your guy out there hobbling for 60, however many minutes he played in those 2 days.
I'll throw you guys both the same question, 2-part question. Who do you think wins? We'll start with that, Brian. Who do you think wins the award?
You're gonna hate this answer. I can't even give you an answer. It's like the truest pick 'em, and there's still what 9 games, 7
Your life
games
depends
left.
on it. Who wins? Who do you think it's a pick in between?
I think it's Embiid and Jokic, especially because Embiid's still gonna play 86 games.
Yeah, I don't think I really don't think Embiid,
68 games.
This is gonna sound extreme. I don't think Embiid has. I think Embiid's third. I don't think Embiid has much of a shot. Brad, what?
I would say I think Jokic, but I have a hard time with Giannis because he's missed so many more games in both of them.
Yeah, I think it's a funny market because I don't think these prices are being set by the books. Like I don't think the books are like, oh my God, we gotta change our liability on Embiid. Like I thought it was Jokic for a long time, but I think that steam that Embiid was getting was more of the narrative, right? Like this narrative of Embiid's finally going to do it. Giannis is a good idea, but if Giannis plays yesterday, like I feel like he puts up a massive stat line against the lowly Pistons.
He's afraid of Killian Hayes.
He's afraid. Like I feel like that would have been a good one, but I'm picking Jokic to win.
So we all agree Jokic.
I think the thing that really hurts with Giannis is I don't know if you've seen the narrative now is like, oh, Embiid's gonna play 68 games. No one's done that and won MVP and since like Nam. And if that's the narrative for him, how do you give it to Giannis? He's gonna finish around like 66.
I think the case for Giannis would be his team's going to be not just the 1 seed in the East, but the 1 overall seed. And if Philly drops to the 4, I mean, they have not played well. That's the other thing. Not only does he sit out, and there's a perception, at least for some people, Kendrick Perkins came out and said, hey, you can't duck Jokic like that. Whether that's fair or not, it's not really relevant because, if the voters think it, that's what they think. And it comes down to a vote. It's not like it's a game. I just think, man, Philly hasn't played well. Embiid sitting out. I have a hard time. Again, we have enough. Now we have a week and a half, 2 weeks left in the season where it could flip again. But right now, I would say between Jokic and Giannis, I think Jokic wins, but I think Giannis is probably the best bet. If you had nothing and you just want to take a flyer on something, Giannis at 5-1, I think could steal the award.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I have this thing where it just really sucks because he could have scored 40 with one leg last night.
Yeah.
Like he would have scored 40 with one leg in that matchup. And I think it's almost a statement where if you looked at his interview where he says he doesn't care, he cares more about health. Sitting in that matchup is almost like telling the world that, hey, everyone thinks all I care about is regular season, not postseason. Here's me showing you I care more about the postseason and giving up the MVP award. It's kind of like falling on your sword in a way.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it was intentional that they said that game.
Yep. Anything else in terms of awards? Brad, did you have a future you wanted to give out?
Yes, I did. I took this at 60. It's plummeted down to 49. But if you look at every media outlet, they're talking about this Minnesota Timberwolves team now on a 4-game win streak. Great back-to-backs. I got them to win the West. It's still available at 49-1 on FanDuel, 45 on DraftKings. Listen, this is a bet you make with a team that's finally healthy. Conley looks good. Gobert and Towns look good together. They're a team that is finally healthy and playing together for like the first time with the new pieces. I think all you need them to do is get to the conference finals. And in the series, like you're going to get like minus 200 on the other team. But I mean, if you put a unit on it and you really want to hedge, you can hedge some of that money out.
Yeah, I can't hate it. I don't like rooting for that team.
It's so funny. That's the same thing. Rooting for Gobert is the worst.
I can't
thing.
stand Towns. To me, Towns is worse when he came back and he's doing that whole bit about this. This is what dreams are made, or this is what movies are made.
Free throws. Someone should tell Grant Williams to have that same dream.
Oh my God,
because he needs
he's just
that dream.
So corny. He's so cringeworthy. I don't know, and I like to just crap on that trade they made. But hey, we're here to make money. There's no reason. Look, you can talk me to a lot of these teams playing in the conference finals. The West is so balanced. It's so wide open, sort of like the NCAA tournament where, hey, man, you can't laugh at anybody's pick. And if you're going to take a shot at somebody, look, 60-1s are gone. I've seen 50-1 at Bet Rivers, 50-1. Could they win a round or two? Absolutely could.
Every year I have a West Conference. I always have a future in an outright from the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference every year. And I always hope they play each other, and it never works out that way. So this year it's the Sixers and the Suns, but not the Sixers as fan. I actually thought there was like value on them when I got them, and hopefully they get healthy and make a run. But yeah,
I think I had that exact last year or 2 years ago too. So yeah, frustrating.
Yeah.
Get to the games tonight.
Yeah, it should be like a 14-minute show. This is I know
ugly slate.
I know people like to say that to like back themselves in case they lose, but man, I looked at this. I think we have 7 games. I think only one of them is with 2 of them within 5 on the spread.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the slate is ugly, but you better have a few drinks first if you're going to sleep with it.
Yeah.
Start with the Celtics laying 11 to the Wizards. Brad, you can start us off here. Big number. What you got?
Look, I would probably try to parlay the Celtics down. The Wizards are awful. I like the Celtics to cover this number. I took the Celtics against the Spurs at, what was it, 16?
16 and a half.
And
it was a close one. You were probably sweating down the stretch.
It actually was like 49-40.
I took the first quarter.
9 or something.
I took the first quarter for the Spurs, so they came through there.
It looked so sketchy for like the longest, and I was like, what a bad mistake that I made. They ended up like winning like what, 120 something,
like 40
30
points. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that first quarter bets, man, they still stay. Stay.
I don't know. If Monte Morris plays, I'd probably take a little of his PRA, but he's a game time decision. No Bradley Beal, no Kyle Kuzma. But like then again, like, do I want to sit there and bet Porzingis in a game that could be a 30-point loss and he doesn't play the fourth quarter? So it's a game that I'm probably going to end up staying away from.
I'm glad you brought up Porzingis because I was looking at a way to play Porzingis. His number is 25.5 on the points. I almost want to go under on that. I mean, this is a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup against Horford and then Robert Williams off the bench. But it's a tough matchup for Porzingis to be the number one scorer against a team like the Celtics. Like, when you are the number one option, it's almost like the worst team in the world to go against. I looked at his numbers against Al Horford. He's never scored over 22 points in his entire career against Horford. I think this is one where I might, if I have one play tonight, it might be Porzingis is under at 25.5. Because I just think that's one of those, oh, someone has to score without Beal or Kuzma, but it also means someone has to take all the attention from the defense, and that's kind of where he's been at.
That's a
Yep.
good way to look at it.
Easy pass for me. Another game that this one actually has some intrigue here. Raptors and Heat, some play-in implications. Raptors laying 3.5. Brian, start us off here. Anything here between the Dinosaurs and the Heat?
Man, if you're laying points on the Raptors, you better be a Raptors fan. I don't really like anything this game. This is gonna be a fun game to watch if you like slow, like playoff atmosphere of basketball. So I was looking at maybe an under in this game, but it's 220, which I feel like is about right. So this is probably a pass for me because I just have no idea what version you're gonna get from both these teams that are super bipolar.
Yeah, this is a really weird one. Where I think naturally, like if both teams were playing better, I'd want to look at Bam, maybe points, but it's just really, really difficult to project these teams now. Like this is a Miami Heat team who should be doing way better than they are, but then they lose these really random, weird games. And I don't know if you guys saw it, like when the Heat lost their last game, like you have Udonis Haslem sitting on the bench looking like he's about to cry. This man's getting racked up to do nothing, and he's still upset.
Well, he's put in so much work all season that he's watching it all fall apart.
It's tough. I'd still, I mean, at 18.5, I still like Bam's over, but like it's just so hard to trust these like the Heat. Hard to trust the Raptors. Like there are games when the Raptors go out there and they ball. Like what was that? 3 games ago where Siakam had 32 and Van Fleet had 29. Like they played great offensive basketball. The ball was moving. Then they have the duds where, you know, like, what are you guys doing? So I lean Bam points, but I didn't lock anything in this.
Yeah, the only thing I give a look at is Jimmy Butler's plus 125 for 6 assists, which I was kind of looking at because the Raptors are a team that they weirdly, as defensive as they seem or they look, they give up a lot of assists. I don't know what it is. They take away a lot of the harder shots, but they do leave a lot more of those assist opportunities open for a guy like Butler, who actually has been diming a lot. I mean, 5, 9, 10, a random 1, and then 6 in the last 5 games. But if you do believe he's the one passing, if you like Bam's points, I do think it's a good value there.
That's a good one.
Goldboys Live, Picket Sports, Boom Fantasy. Check them out. Let's see here. Hawks are a pick'em. They're hosting the Cavaliers, another team, the Hawks, with some playing, jockeying to do. Brad, start us off here. Hawks and Cavs. Anything you like?
I feel like everyone thought the same thing. I talked about this in the show this morning, where this would probably be a game where I'd be interested in betting pretty much any Hawks player props, points, rebounds, and assists for Dejounte Murray. I would prefer to have the Hawks getting a plus number in front of them. But I mean, even though the Cavs are still going to try to fight to move up in the playoff standings, this just feels like such a massive letdown spot for the Cavs after clinching. They made this whole stink about their first time clinching without LeBron and X, Y, and Z time. So I like the Hawks here. I think this could be even if the Cavs win, it could be one of those like massively high scoring games where Atlanta puts on a show, but the Cavs just prove they're a better team.
Yeah, I if it wasn't for that letdown spot you mentioned, that was the first thing I saw. It was a pick 'em, and I was just like, man, this Cavs team is a much better basketball team than the Hawks. But yeah, I did see that the whole idea that it's like the first time since 1990, whatever, like without LeBron on a Wednesday, like they always have these weird pick 'em, like they cherry pick their stats. But yeah, I could see that.
I think that one is a little more legit because like when they had LeBron, all right, they're winning championships, they're going to the finals without him. Like that is crazy. Like, were you even alive the last time they were in the playoffs without LeBron? What year were you born?
I was 97.
Oh wow, yeah. So you have not been alive to see the Cavs in the playoffs without LeBron.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Crazy. But the only thing I gave a look in this game is, I mean, Trae Young fares well against the Cavs overall in his last few games, but I just have a hard time trusting Trae Young for anything. So I'm probably just going to stay away. And if anything, maybe I'll look for the Cavs if they get like a 2-possession live spread on like if like Atlanta goes on a run. But that's about it.
Dejounte Murray's point, rebounds, and assists was plus money this morning. It's now down to minus 120. So like that's like, yeah, no, change my mind on that.
Yeah.
Memphis laying 7. They've played better here. They're hosting Orlando laying 7. Our Magic, Brad, they're not going to get there. They're not going to win the division. They're not going to get a
No.
play in. I think they're probably
There's still some games
a
left.
year away. Yeah, they're too far.
Yeah, they need a lot of, not only a good run, but they need a lot of luck too.
Yeah, they it's too bad because they just started off too slow. This is a fun team. 7 looks like a lot, but Memphis is playing a lot better.
John Morant's not playing as he's doubtful, which probably means he's out, but in this NBA it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Tempted to take the 7, but I'm probably not going to. This is a tough place to win in Memphis. Brian, anything for you in this game?
Weirdly enough, I was actually looking at Jaren Jackson's under, only because 21.5. I know no John Morant, but it's just a lengthy team. He did drop 30 against them last time, but I just can't end up touching it. And one of these guys, I subscribed to the newsletter. He took Jaren Jackson's under, and his reasoning was that he's scoring less with John Morant back, and I don't think he realizes that John Morant's not playing. So I almost can't take it now after seeing that, like, the poor writing I saw in front of me where he was like, yeah, like this year's points per game without Ja, he hasn't gone over the last 2 games. It kind of just made me root for a masterclass now. That sounds spiteful, but if you're going to be publishing work and publishing articles, I feel like you should at least check an injury report or once. But I did think it's one of those ones where Jaren Jackson's almost a built-in insurance where he can just sometimes get 4 fouls in 3 minutes and you can just kind of coast.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like Desmond Bain over 2.5 threes. The Magic are long, but they do sometimes kind of fail to rotate. I get kind of caught up. I think it's a good spot for him, especially with no John Morant, because instead of like having to do more catch and shoot threes, he'll be able to take the ball down and shoot at will, which kind of helps him out a lot more. I did see someone on Dylan Brooks points, which like I thought that was nuts. Like I don't think I've ever been like, man, I want to take Dylan Brooks over. But
it's hard to root for that guy too. It's hard to root
for him, and it's hard to root for him. He's just chucking up all these bricks, like building a house. But I do lean the 7 here, even without John Morant. I just think, man, Memphis is just so much better. Orlando's improving, but they just still got a ways to go to compete with the big dogs.
Yeah, those are the worst guys to bet on too. I took Killian Hayes' under yesterday. He started off 1 for 8, and my friends were like, "Oh, I'll be fine. He's not shooting well." I'm like, I just know he's gonna go over on 20 shots, and sure as hell, 17 shots to get there. But man, he scored 14.
This next game, Thunder laying 10.5 to the Hornets. Thunder right there in the play-in mix. We've talked about it all year. Odds to get in the playoffs at fat numbers, odds to get in the play-in. They got a reasonable schedule here. This is a game they have to get. Boy, I like them as a dog a lot. Laying 10.5, I don't know. I would probably lean towards the Hornets here. Brad, start us off here. OKC versus Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd probably lean the Charlotte Hornets as well. When the Thunder were a 9-point favorite against the Trailblazers, it looked like they might actually lose that game.
I think it closed like 10.5, maybe 11 in some spots. That
really? Wow. Yeah. I took the Trailblazers with the points. I was like, just feels wrong to think that OKC is a team that's going to be beating teams by double digits. So that's where I kind of lean there. No props for me. The Hornets have such blowout potential that taking props, if you're not taking unders, is just like asking for disaster.
Right.
Yeah. What if I told you guys like 6 months ago that we'd see 2 Thunder spreads at 11 or 10, like as the favorites? Like I feel like everyone would be like, all right, sure.
I would call you crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think it's one of those games where the Hornets, not really playing anybody anymore, but they just beat the best duo in the league with Luka and Kyrie twice. So maybe they're finding something there, but yeah, this is a true game where there's no props even out. We don't know who's playing yet for the Thunder. So if there's ever a game, like I say to Will every week, if there's a game to maybe just cross off and not even look at for a bet, it might be this one with some of the injury news and just grossness of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm probably going to end up betting here the Hornets plus 10.5. Part of that is I have OKC to make the playoffs, make the play-in, and they got some winnable games. They got this one. They got home versus the Pistons. They got the Pacers. So if you can get 2 or 3 in a row here, I think they have the tiebreaker over Dallas. So that would be, you got to start. They got a chance here to nail down a playoff spot, at least a play-in spot.
Yeah.
Final game, Warriors laying 8.5 to the Pelicans. Warriors have played a little better recently. Tough loss the other night against Minnesota. We know how they are at home. Brad, start us off here, Pels and the Warriors.
Yeah, I like the Warriors here laying the 8. Pelicans on the second half of back-to-back don't play any defense already, and the Pelicans give up a ton of threes. Like this could be one of those games where if you want to do the 4 threes for both Clay and Steph, I think it's both 4. You'll get like probably minus 125 odds. I think that's a game you'll take it too. It's just the second half of back-to-back's tough for the Pelicans. And the Warriors are at home. They're not on the road, so
Yeah, the Warriors of the home are a totally different team. My friend
Yeah,
texted
they
me saying, because I've been fading Klay Thompson a lot with success, and he said, "We're going to do it again." And I was like, I just can't do it at home. Like at home, it's just such a tough thing. Um, Weirdly enough, the only thing I would look at this game is like the weirdest prop in your life is Jordan Poole should get a decent run here, and he's actually like his rebounding prop is always like 2.5 at like plus 140. And if you could get it, it's like a weird thing where it's a 50-50 line for him. But when you're getting plus 130s or plus 120s for a prop like that in a game where he could just eat minutes, like that's what it is. Like if it's a blowout or like if it's like a decent lead, he might just play a lot, and it's like a fun one to root for. So that's one where I might end up adding like a half unit.
They don't even have
Yep.
the minute projections up for this game because
Yeah,
they don't know who's
nothing really
playing.
there.
Wow.
So that's it for the games tonight. I want to get to these because these are always fun. Odds to make the play-in. And again, DraftKings, you check these out. I hate that you can't bet the no, but let's just go through these. Let's start with the East. Raptors are minus 1 million. Hawks are minus 1 million. Bulls are minus 5,000. Heat are minus 250. The only bet I guess you look at, Nets plus 240. You think they fall in? I'm surprised it's 240. They're right there with the Heat, but they do have an easier schedule than the Heat. Nets plus 240. Knicks 10-1. Pacers 15-1. Wizards 17-1. If you want to get frisky with the Magic, they're 20-1. But I'm done getting frisky with the Magic.
No, I'm done.
You guys see anything?
Man, did anyone check in on Matt after that Saturday blowout with the Heat? He was probably so upset when the Nets
They were winning too.
Yeah, the Nets just blew him out of the water.
Yeah, they're like a little sneaky. They're a weird team. It's a weird mix. Like they're not good, but they're not bad. They have these big efforts where bridges go off. They're a strange team, but they're not bad, but they're just not good.
Yeah, the only team that's like on the bubble is like if you still want to take the Nets for that collapse, but that's the only team I'm looking at the stands right now. Because if you're gonna give me any odds on the Mavericks, I have no hope for that team right now. Like there's just how crazy would it be if they missed the playoffs like entirely? That'd be something else. But it's looking like they might. I mean, they're the odd man's out against two teams that have been playing way better basketball than they have.
All right, we'll get to the West because these odds are somewhat egregious here. Odds to participate in the play-in. So it's nothing to do with what happens when you get there, just odds to participate in it. Lakers are minus 310. Mavs are minus 250. Pelicans are minus 200. OKC is minus 180. Then you have a fifth team that's minus 125, and the Timberwolves are only plus 120. And then you get Warriors 2-1. The Jazz, I think, are done at 10-1. Portland, you forget it. Sacramento, you can forget it.
See,
they just can't bet no. I mean, that's what we come to the conclusion, right? There's no bet because you can't bet no.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is that there's 4 spots and they have 5 teams at minus 180 or worse. Like you can't.
And one of them's minus 310 and the other's minus 250. It's ridiculous.
Like if you gave me a no option for the Mavericks and the yes was minus 180, well, I mean, I would take the plus 150. Like I would take that. Like just out of not spite, but like out of value. Like the fact they don't give you the no option almost makes it a no bet because they can just take all the vids in the world and it doesn't really matter who makes it and who doesn't with those kind of odds for the sportsbook perspective.
Hold is just egregious.
The odds for the Clippers are really wild to me. Like, why would you play minus 110 I would play no like for plus money. Like I think the Clippers could be pretty safe in the 6th seed.
All right, if you want to go that route where they do have no odds to make the playoffs, Heat or plus the no is plus 650 on the Heat. Hawks are minus 110 either way. Bulls, no is minus 320. Yes is plus 250. Let's just go with those 3 first. Anything there?
Probably Hawks, no.
I was about to say Hawks no seems like the best bet you could probably have out of those 3 just because they're going to get matched up with a team that's just superior, you'd think, in the play-in.
Yeah. Coming out of the All-Star break, remember we talked about the Hawks missed the playoffs. They had just finished a 4-game losing streak. And now they're just doing this up and down, up and down, up and down. And their schedule isn't that great. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I also think they're going to either have to play the Heat or the Raptors most likely in the play-in. And that's just 2 teams they don't match up well with at all. I mean, ask if I'm the Hawks, I am strategically trying to avoid the Heat because last year's playoff series was a rough watch to see that offense try to match up with the Heat when they shut down Trae Young.
Yeah.
What they're telling you is when it comes to the play-in, it's going to be Heat, Hawks, Bulls, Raptors. They think the Heat are going to make it. They think the Bulls, let's see. Yeah, they think the Heat are going to make it. They think the Bulls will miss it. And then it comes down to the Raptors or the Hawks for the final spot. I think that's what they're basically telling you.
Yeah.
Any bets in any of those? Raptors plus 105 to make it? Anything?
If they get the Hawks, I think the best thing is to take Hawks no and fade
Hawks
that.
no.
Yeah, I think that's the best. I think that's the best way to like. I want to say like it gives you more outs because that way, even if they don't match up with the Raptors, you can still have them lose because they are always subject to lose a big game.
All right, let's go with some West ones here. Thunder are still plus 250 to make the playoffs. Again, you got to get through the play-in game. You got to be in the main draw. Warriors plus 850 to miss. Pelicans plus 160 to make it. I'm just going by the plus money here. Timberwolves are plus 250 to miss. So we think they're going to make it. Clippers plus 475 to miss. If you think, hey, Kawhi's going to get hurt or whatever, they got a tough schedule. They do have a bunch of games against the Grizzlies here coming up. So that might be interesting. And then Lakers are plus 130 to miss. So they're favored to make it. I don't know. I just don't trust the Lakers. I might look at a no.
I would take no on the Lakers.
I would too. Anything else jump out to you guys?
That'd be the one for me is that we talk about countless times on the show. The Lakers just get all this Laker love. Yeah, they get the value on the nose because no one wants to fade the teams that people want to watch. Like no one's gonna want to see Steph Curry or LeBron James not make the playoffs. So you kind of get like inherent baked in value on the nose because no one else wants to be taking that.
Yeah.
How about Clippers almost 5-1 to miss? Worth it or no?
I don't know. I just think the Clippers are still good enough. Like they would need another injury. Like
they would need,
don't underestimate the Clippers to come up with another injury.
They'd also need to like. They're still a game over.
Yeah.
The T-Wolves.
I think coming up though.
I think that's the only thing is
don't put it over the Clippers to get it. Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Butler is now ruled questionable for tonight, so he probably sits. So everything we just talked about for like 30 minutes is
Makes
like
sense.
totally garbage. And SGA is out. So congrats, guys. We just had a 30-minute show.
Is he out?
He just got ruled out.
Oh my god!
Wow, they already took that game down. Holy smokes,
bitch!
Yeah, wow. This is what the best part about our role here on the show is we spend so much time. I have all these notes, and then after like 30 minutes, all the bombs come out, and everything we talk about is kind of just recycled into the void of nothingness. Because
everything I just said was irrelevant, which I'm not used to. Brian's used to. That's been his whole life, but I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
That still has a 10.5 on Charlotte. I'm gonna get that one in.
Yeah, I'll take that, and then probably text you later saying, "Fuck, we always do this, and it never goes our way."
I mean, you could take the 10.5 now, and you can.
Yeah.
Boy, they just pulled it. I just got it in. Nice job by me, right there. That's That's how you make this.
I think it was one time last year I did that. I went shopping for shoes with my girlfriend, and I was following a game because it was a game that the Raptors benched everybody, and I took the other team's spread. I forget who it was, but it might have been the Heat. Whoever it was, they ended up losing by like 20. And I was so mad because I got like it was like I got the -8 and it moved to like -15. And I was like, this is perfect. The Spurs are resting everybody. It's the best thing in the world. And I kept checking. She's like, why are you in such a bad mood? I'm like, how are they down 23? I was like, this is like the worst thing.
All right. Any recap? Anything we got in pocket right now for tonight? I think if you can get the plus 10.5, you find it. I mean, that's one where you gotta, have a lot of books and hopefully somebody hangs a stale number for you.
Yeah. For me, I'm just sitting out until we get some more lineup clarity.
Yeah. The only thing I might end up playing is that Porzingis under. I kind of talked myself into it a little bit on the show. I do think it's a really tough matchup for him. Al Horford, the Embiid stopper. Maybe he's also the Tinga stopper.
All right, that should pretty much do it. That was a fun show, guys. Brad, Brian, appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Good luck with all your plays. Thank you to Pickett Sports, Boom Fantasy. Don't forget to check them out. Goldboys, goldboys.com. Good luck with all your plays. We will see you next time.